In this video I'm going to be talking about planning for an exam period, and this should be watched in conjunction with the video I made on how to make a study timetable. A study timetable is really important, and week in, week out you should be doing some study. But when you have a set of exams or an assessment task coming up, you should plan your time when those assessments are coming to make sure that you're studying enough for each of the subjects so that when the exams come you're ready for them. The first thing you should do is, as the exams are approaching, make up a grid like this that shows the weeks. So here we have week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So week 4 is now, and the assessments are kind of coming in between week 6 and week 9. And I'd like to thank Tamika, a student of mine, who are sitting down and organising this for, so that we've got a real practical example for you to see how to do this. And Tamika has 4 assessment tasks that are approaching between week 6 and week 9. So the first thing we're going to do is to put our assessment tasks into this calendar. So there are 4 tasks Tamika has coming up. In week 6 on Wednesday she has an economics test, week 8 for legal, and in week 9 she has English and business studies. We've just put over on Saturday and Sunday, we've just, in speaking to Tamika, worked out that on a day where she has a whole day to study, Monday through to Friday she's at school, so she only has the afternoon, but when she has a whole day to study, her preference would be to study in 2 blocks and study 2 different subjects. Some people might find that too much and they might break a study day into 4 like this, and then say, I'm going to have 4 shorter sessions through the day. So just figure out what that would be best for you on the weekend. Now I'm going to suggest that most people's study is pretty haphazard, that they would just start on Monday, whatever they felt like studying that day, they would start to study it, and they would keep on studying. They might look at see they've got their economics first and start studying for economics now. And when they get down later on into the later exams, they find they haven't spent enough time preparing for them, and they've waited too late to be able to do anything about it. So planning like this helps to overcome those problems. Just to make it a bit easier to read, I'm just going to label these tasks. So economics we'll call 1, legal is 2, English is 3, and business is 4. The most important step when you're doing this is to actually start right down the bottom. Instead of starting at the top, we're going to go right down to the bottom. Before we do that, we just need to acknowledge that there's going to be some days where study is not possible, and so we'll go through that now. What we want to do is to blank out those days, blank out those times where that's not going to be possible. So for Tamika, she works after school on Mondays, so she would be doing work at school on Monday, but Monday after school is difficult for her, and Thursdays she has sporting commitments which take out most of her afternoon. Saturdays are free, but on Sundays she also plays sport, and so half of the Sunday time is impossible for her to do any study. It's so important to just do this realistically. Don't say that you will study on a day when you know you're not going to study. Even if you've got if you know that on Friday afternoon, after you've been at school all week, that you never feel in the mood for study, you're always too tired, then you need to blank out Friday. Don't say you'll study there and then you'll end up not studying. Okay, so if we start down the bottom, obviously, down here, business is on Thursday, then these days are also going to be no study days. And so once all her exams are done, Tamika won't be doing any study along there. Okay, but starting down the bottom is what we said was most important. And obviously on the Wednesday in week 9, the night before business, we know that Tamika is going to be studying for business. So we're going to put a 4 in there to say that we're going to be studying for article number 4 in there. And in the same way that English, which is on that Tuesday, on the Sunday we need to be studying for the English, and we probably need to devote some time on the Saturday as well to do English, because legal and economics are already finished at these times, these other two leftover spots we're going to devote to either business studies or English, so we'll do one of each. And so these are the topics that are going to be studied then. In the same way, we know that the day before the legal task, Tamika will be studying for legal studies, and the day before the economics task, she's going to be studying for economics. And in all of this time here, the economics is over, so in any of these days here, there won't be a number 1 appearing. So in this week here, and in this time here, we should have lots of 2s, 3s and 4s appearing. Well, only 2s, 3s and 4s appearing. So we're going to go through and put some of those in now. And what we noticed before we put those numbers in is that down here, we've got lots of 4s appearing already. So there are already some 4s that were going on. So we didn't put many in here, but we still do need to make up some of the 4s up in these 2 weeks that we have to fill in now. And we also want to put these 2 1s in here because we've got this economics task coming up, so we want to make sure in the days before the economics task there's time spent on that. At this stage I'd go through the 4 subjects and make a tally of how many periods of study I've assigned to each subject to make sure that that I've got an even spread. I might acknowledge that some of these subjects might need more work than others, so they might get a greater share. But I don't want to get to this stage and figure out that I have too much time devoted to legal studies at the expense of something else. So I'd want to go through and tally these up and then balance it out as I finish this. And this is quite often a pattern that I'll see to somebody when they do something in this way that they won't do when they just do it off the top of their head, is that quite often you'll find that I'm going to do some of my last subject first. I'm going to get some study done of that out of the way, maybe just writing some summary notes, getting it out of the way so it's sitting there, and then I can work towards these other subjects, and as it comes closer, I've got that work already done. What tends to happen instead is that people would start studying for economics here in these early stages, and they wouldn't start studying business until after their legal exam, and find they haven't got enough time to devote to both business studies and English. I won't go into this in too much detail, but some students might find that what they need to do is to have really specific goals for what they're going to be working on in each of those study periods. And so when you are working out what you're going to be working on, just figure out what tasks need to be done. So Tamika just said for economics that she needs to do 3 things. She needs to make her study notes, spend time learning and memorising the study notes, and then do some practice essays. So they're the 3 activities that she needs to be working on. Business studies was a little bit different. She said, I have 4 topics, so I need to make notes and learn topic A, topic B, topic C, topic D, and then I also need to assign time to doing practice questions. So I've gone through business studies and assigned those 4 topics to different days. I've just noted that down here topic D is the biggest topic that Tamika has to do, and so we're going to be spending, here we go, in these 2 periods here, 2 periods of study devoted to that topic D because it's bigger than the other ones. And we wanted to leave 2 more days to work on just practice questions to prepare. So for Tamika's timetable, we actually did that. We went through and assigned what exactly she should be working on in each of those periods. The good thing about doing this is that she can actually see I do have enough time to cover everything that I need to cover in the lead up to these tasks. And what a lot of students might do is maybe start working in week 5 and figure out that they haven't really set aside enough time to get everything finished in time for the assessment task that they have. So that's what you should do when planning an assessment period. We'll just quickly go through again and say, make up a calendar, put in your tasks, black out the days that you know you can't do any study, and then start from the back and start to say, the days leading up to each task, I know I'm going to be working on those tasks, and then you'll find those earlier weeks you'll start to figure out what should I be doing in those times to make sure that I've spent enough time on each of my subjects so that I can prepare for this.